Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany and I am a travel agent. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about tipping at all-inclusive resorts. And the only reason I'm really talking about this is because I get so many questions about this every day. So I want to first start by saying a really big disclaimer on tip only if you want to. It's not required, and tip what you can afford. Do not go broke trying to tip. They really are so appreciative of whatever you can give. So I'm just going to try to give you some guidelines of what I do, and then I just want you to look at the resorts that you're going to and look into your finances and see what will work for you. Every resort is not the same. So there's going to be some resorts that are a little more higher end that are going to have butler service, room service, turn down service, waiter service. So in those aspects, you would tip a little bit more than if you were going to a resort that was a little less expensive that didn't have those things. So if you don't have a butler and you're getting your own drinks at the bar and you're not having turn down service, you may tip a little bit less. So what I recommend is going over with your travel agent exactly how much they recommend that you gift to the staff if you're able to do so. So what I personally do is I divide my money up into envelopes for each day. So I'm going on vacation in just a couple days, so I have all my tipping ready, so I figured it was a great time to go over this. So I am staying for 5 nights, so I have 5 nights worth of envelopes. And why I do it by day is so that you're able to keep track of how you're tipping, because it's very easy to just go nuts and just tip, and then on the last day you don't have enough. So what I personally do is I budget for between $50 to $100 per day. Again, you're going to be on the higher end if you're going somewhere that offers a lot of amenities. And that is just what works for my budget. So for this trip, we are doing $85 a day because that's what I could afford. And for some people, that's going to sound like way too much, and that's fine. If you can only afford $25 a day, that's great. For other people, they tip much more than that. So the $50 to $100 range is what works out really good for me. So I just divide them up into the envelopes like I said, and if I have any money left over from that day, I like to keep it in the envelope, and then when I go home, I'll kind of look back just to see how my tipping was. Like, you know, did I feel like I needed more? Did I have way too much? On days where you're doing an excursion, you may find that you have a lot of money left over because you aren't at the resort and you're off doing things. So I like to kind of keep track of my money, and so the envelopes is how I do it. So I just save the envelopes when I get bills in the mail. I just have a whole stack of just blank envelopes, and I save them throughout the year. And you're always going to want to keep your tip money on you in your luggage. So I'm sure this is common sense, but don't check your tip money or any money. Keep it in your carry-on bag. So I just keep it in a little bag, and I keep this in my carry-on, keep it in my backpack really. So I always have it near me. The important thing to note is for most countries, US dollar is going to be perfectly acceptable as tips. If you are coming from outside the US and you need to exchange your money, then go and exchange into the local currency. There's no need to, let's say you're going to Mexico and you're coming from Canada. There's no need to, you know, get pesos and US dollars, just go all in pesos. Something very important is the countries cannot accept worn or used or written on bills. The banks won't accept them. So don't stamp something on them if there's writing on them. If there's rips or tears, that's not gonna fly. And I know if you're giving from your heart to someone, you want to make sure that they can use the money. I have had countless servers ask if they can exchange money out with me because it's no use for them. So what I usually do is go to the bank and exchange for new money. So let's say you're going to bring $300 with you. You just go to the bank and withdraw the money, but say, can I have new bills? I have a whole stack of bills that needs to go back to the bank because they are just, it's probably going to be too hard for you to see, but they're just too worn. So they're worn. This one's ripped in the edges. This has a 17 written on them. So these bills are not good. And you, again, don't want to give something that can't be used. So just make sure that you're giving new, clean, unworn bills. And I save for tips all year round. So we already have, for our next vacation in 2 months, I already have an envelope going with $128. So again, the tipping amount may sound high. You may be like, I can't afford another $50 a day on top of what I'm already spending. And that may be the case. I try to plan in my tipping when I'm booking the vacation. So I think in my head, okay, my vacation's gonna be X amount of dollars and then I need $500 worth of tipping money. So if you plan for it and you're saving money all year long for it, it isn't as bad as it may sound. Additionally, from Cash Tips, I do little candy treat bags, and they look like this. We fill them up with candies, and I do put money in there as well, and these are a huge hit. I get so many questions about this, so I'm going to go into it a little bit more. So I get the candy from Costco. So I think this bag is around $16 or so, and this bag will last me probably 3 vacations. It has a lot of candy. It's almost 6 pounds of candy. So I'll do some candies. They love Tootsie Rolls, so I also will do Tootsie Rolls. I don't do any chocolate because it is just too hot for chocolate. So the first time that I ever did treat bags, I did chocolate and it didn't melt, but I had to be really careful about it. I couldn't just throw a handful in my bag. I had to kind of, be more cognizant of when I was going to be handing it out. So now I just do not do any chocolate and I just do sweet and sour candies. And the little bags that I put them in, I get them at Walmart and I get them in the craft section, and the size of the bags is 3 inches by 4 inches, and I think they're about $3 a bag. Again, I get them in the craft section at Walmart. And then usually I'll do like little thank you stickers, and I get these at Dollar Tree, and just like a little, hey, thanks, good job, and they love these bags. So since I usually do carry-on only, I fill up a gallon size bag, usually is how many of the candy treat bags that I do. So that usually works out to be about 10 of these bags per day. I would bring more if I had more space, but when you're doing carry-ons, to fill up a gallon size bag of candy, that takes up a lot of space in your suitcase. So how I give these out is kind of random. There's no rhyme or reason to it. We give the treat bags to kind of whoever we have a really good connection with, and sometimes we'll give, so let's say you give it to a server and you have the same server. Sometimes we'll try to space it out and only give someone a candy bag once, so kind of everyone gets a little bit. And sometimes the server's so great that, we'll give them a candy bag every day. And they love them. Really, like, we have so many workers that are like, oh my gosh, your chocolates and oh, your candies, and they like to have candies that they can't get in Mexico. So I'll try to find candy and I'll ask the workers, hey, which kind of candies do you like? So now I know from my previous trips what they can and cannot get. So I learned last summer that Twizzlers are like really popular and they can't always find those. So we try to do Twizzlers and just some really sweet candies that they can't get there. So as far as tipping goes, it's really at your discretion. I think what I'll do is I'll put up on the screen just like a suggested tipping, and you can kind of go from there. Basically, you're going to want to try to tip your shuttle driver, servers, room service, butlers if you have them. I like to tip everyone I have a good interaction with. So I'll tip gardeners, musicians, turn down service. You know, I really try to tip everyone. And you just need to tip whoever you have a good interaction with. I don't tip every single round of drinks. How usually I do it is I'll do $1 per drink, or if I'm going to be in the pool, I'll give a 5 or a 10, and that's gonna last me some time. You do want to tip daily. I do not recommend tipping at the end of the week or at the end of your stay, because you never know when someone's vacation is going to be. So tip daily, bring enough cash to tip. Do not assume that the front desk is going to be able to make change for you. Sometimes they will, but I always go with cash, and if for some reason you run out and you only have, you know, $20 bills and you need to make change, your best bet is going to be either asking the bartender if they can make change for you, or asking the bellhop if they can make change for you. So I think that is all I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions about tipping, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. I hope this video was helpful. Subscribe if you would like to see more vacation content from me. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.